He was really focused, successful. He was really focused on his business. And then besides that, he spent a good amount of time with myself and my siblings and my mom too. And as far as his background from a mental health perspective, everybody thought that he was almost even like superhuman or Superman, and that he would always be helping other people.
Brad Gill can still remember the day 5 years ago when he received the call that his dad took his own life.
And when my mom called and told me what happened, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, she literally had to say it 4 or 5 times on the phone. And I'll never forget that feeling of, what? It couldn't have been him. It must be a mistake. What, are you sure they called the right person, or have you heard from him, or is, almost, how is this possible?
Don Gill Jr. was 48 years old and never seemed to show any signs that something was wrong.
There's some stigma, I suppose, or some assumption that with suicide, it's like, oh, it only affects people who are dealing with this, or it only affects people of a certain socioeconomic status, or maybe people with certain health challenges or whatever it might be. But it really doesn't discriminate.
According to the CDC, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S., with a 35% rise in the suicide rate from 1999 to 2018.
I've spoken to survivors of attempts, and the description from one of them is this psychological pain is so overwhelming. And this is in their head, right? Nobody likes me. I'm a terrible person. I mean, these are things that are in their head. It's not necessarily voices, but these are the thoughts that are in their head. They really think that. They really believe that people would be better off without them.
Christy Bach, Executive Director of the Mental Health Foundation of West Michigan, says simply talking about suicide can be more powerful than people realize. While many want to avoid the topic, becoming comfortable and having tough conversations with family and friends can save a life.
Now we have to get to the point where we're actually having good conversations with people, where we're actually asking someone the question, are you thinking about suicide? And we know that that is a life-saving question.
As for Brad, he's now on the board of the Mental Health Foundation of West Michigan and attends events like Stomp Out Stigma with his family, sharing his story, his dad, all in the hopes it helps someone else feel less alone.
I think that he would just be proud of us sort of taking a negative experience and turning it as positive as possible. Just thankful that we were able to take what happened and kind of lean into it as much as possible and use it to help so many other people like I think he would. He was always maybe even too focused on helping other people.
Now, if you want to get involved in this year's Stomp Out Stigma 5K walk, it is Thursday, September 10th, which is Suicide Prevention Day. They have gone virtual, but there are a number of different ways that you can participate that day. For more information on that and how to create a team, you can just head to benice.org.